to order at 6 o'clock.
Okay, use your microphone.
Oh, it's usually right here. Is it on? Is this on?
It should be on. You don't have to touch it.
I already touched it.
Oh,
Now
okay.
it's on.
Now it's on.
Call this meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Okay, this is June 2nd.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It says June 2nd on the,
Oh, yes, it does. It's, yeah, wrong date. Sorry.
but it's,
But it is
It's
June.
actually June 9th.
Pretend it's a 9.
All right, so we have volunteer appreciation. I guess you're.
Yeah, right
It
up.
says
Top of the
call
list.
to order, volunteer appreciation. We all need a cookie,
You do need a cookie. Something positive.
just to make it through the strenuous meeting.
It's good to see you all. Good evening. I'm Laura Anson, and I'm on the Volunteer Coordinating Committee. I'm here on behalf of the City of Keizer and our committee to say thank you for volunteering to be on the Parks Board and serving, and to give you cookies.
So you should all have napkins.
Thank you.
That's what that's
Yes.
for.
Yeah.
Ready to go.
Of course she's ready to go.
Yes, she is. Thank you so
The hard
much.
part, Wayne, is getting that thing open. I didn't want to open it before because it also falls open then.
Awesome.
But you always know when somebody's sneaking your cookies.
Yeah, I can hear it, yeah.
Right?
Wayne, I'll look at the cookies and more.
I already
how many do
counted
you want?
one.
I did just.
ooh, boy.
I'll dump them on the floor.
Then they'd all be for me.
Well, you're lucky my dog's not here, because she'd have them gone before you got here.
You always have these. Is it not sweet?
There, how about that?
You skip
Or
it?
the dog or something.
I've had enough.
Oh, yeah. For me, it's my cat. Dog doesn't care that much about
I get to
food.
keep the rest.
Cat does.
Oh, there's only chocolate in your bed.
Don't touch them all, Lauren.
Anybody?
Okay, approval of the minutes. We all read the minutes?
I'll make a motion to approve the, what month was it?
March.
March minutes.
Second.
Yeah.
I was like, it's not listed
As,
as one.
written,
Yes, that's correct.
as recorded. Any discussion? Do we have a second?
Second. Yeah,
Oh, sorry, didn't see the second. All those in favor of approving the minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes.
David, I had to abstain because I wasn't here.
Oh, okay. Okay, now, appearance of interested citizens.
Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to bring the sheet up, but Pat Fisher is here.
You want me to get the sheet for you?
No, that's okay.
I think
I know, Pat.
I'm second on this.
Oh, are you? What are you, you're on the list for Parks Board? Oh, you mean over there? Oh, well, yes, but the, Palmer is on the agenda, so that's what.
You go, sir. Thank you.
Okay, well, good evening, everybody. My name is Pat Fisher. I'm a resident of Keizer.
I'm also a member of a Rotary Club, not the Rotary Club that's here in Keizer, but one that's called an E-Club, and we meet online. So I'm a member of the Rotary E-Club of One World. And I'm here to tell you about a project proposal that I'm trying to work on as a partnership between the two Rotary clubs, but also involving different agencies and organizations around Keizer, and that is the idea of planting some peace poles in Keizer. And that I did provide there a couple of packets of pictures in case you want to see what those look like, but basically it is a pole, kind of like a fence post, that has the message, "May peace prevail on earth," around the different sides of the pole in different languages, either 4 or 8 languages. And around the world, there's more than 250,000 of these peace poles in place, at least some in every country. There's quite a few of them in the Willamette Valley due to some efforts by Rotary clubs a few years ago, but so far we have none in Keizer. And so the peace pole, when you see them, it's meant to represent a symbol of the unity and harmony within our community, and also a hope for a greater culture of peace worldwide. So my hope is that we can get several of these, perhaps maybe even as many as 10, placed around Keizer in, several different locations that are prominent, that are highly visible, that people are especially walking by more so than driving by, so that they can stop and look at the poles and look at the different languages and so forth. I'm kind of doing a chicken and egg thing here, trying to get the funding in place through the Rotary clubs and get the location approvals in place with, the city government and, say, McNary High School, and there may be other businesses or churches around town that are also willing or interested in having the poles. But I come to you tonight because I think one of the ones really on my short list where I think it would be very nice to see one or more of these poles would be at the Keizer Rotary Amphitheater in Keizer Rapids Park. I also think that there's several neighborhood parks that would be good candidates. I started talking about this with Robert Johnson a few months ago, and then we've kind of been sidelined, with the coronavirus shutdowns and so forth. But the other day when we were talking, for instance, we talked about Country Glen Park on the north end and Wallace House Park on the south end of town, both being parks that are nice walkable parks. A lot of people come by. We were talking about perhaps the Little League complex as well, because that would be a place where a lot of people from out of town, as well as the Keizer residents, would see the message and see the peace poles. Those have been my ideas so far, but I'm quite open to any suggestions from this board. And I guess what I would really hope for is to see whether you would support having some of these peace poles in place in some of the city parks, and whether you would vote to, I guess it would be either approval or approval that's conditioned on me getting the money, so that I can do the go back to the Rotary and say, if you approve the money, yes, we have the approval for placing these in one or more of the city parks.
I have a question for you.
Yes, I think I will pause right now and go to questions.
So in noticing on your next step that you're looking for on the funding part, that's from the Rotary Foundation, correct?
Correct. Also from Keizer Community Foundation, this will be presented to their board tomorrow night, and so it could possibly be a combination from both of those sources.
If I'm reading this right, that would cover 5 poles and installation, is there any mention of maintenance and upkeep?
That's a question that's come up, and I posed a question to a Rotary member in Newburgh, where they put in, they have 53 of these in place. And it's a combination of in the parks, school grounds, and so forth. So I talked to him. They did this 3 years ago, and he's not aware of any maintenance or vandalism problems with the ones that they've installed 3 years ago. He did say that in some cases, the Rotary Club, made an agreement to maintain the poles if they were damaged, or in other places, the recipient, or the hosting agency or property owner either wanted to or agreed to take on the maintenance responsibility.
Are they all the same dimensions?
There's many different kinds from a couple different suppliers. The ones I have in mind are available through a kind of called a Rotary Action Group. And they would either be the white vinyl poles, which is pictured in the packet there on at least one of the pages, a white vinyl pole. The other option, which is kind of the fancier one, is a wooden pole with the white faceplates on it. So the example of the white vinyl one, there's one just in downtown. There's one in Silverton in downtown Park, and there's also in downtown Salem at the corner of Church and Center Street, I believe. And that's one of the photographs that's in that packet there. So that's what it is. Going to be probably once it's planted, about 5 to 6 feet high.
Thank you. So you want us to endorse the idea? Is that what you want? Oh, Roland, yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
You're so far away, you need to wait.
I know, and you can't spot me, I'm not dark enough, I guess. Just kidding.
Oh, it's
Hey,
your
listen,
hat. It's an Oregon hat. I can't see
Oregon.
those at all.
Good one. I got a couple questions. First of all, clarify, is E-Rotary, is that connected with Rotary?
It's a different type of Rotary Club, but otherwise through the same Rotary International.
Okay, and the other thing is that I actually am familiar with peace poles.
Mm-hmm.
In my hometown in Texas, they actually have one big one in the park, and then they have several in the, and they have a bird bath pole.
Oh.
Anyway, but the one to add to this was that in Seguin, Texas, where the one I visited, it's amazing because it's almost like it's sacred. Because first thing that came to mind was cost. Second thing was graffiti. You hit them both. Like you hit both of mine. And the guy who happens to be my cousin that runs the park there, he was telling me that for some reason they have no problems with that one in the center of the park as far as graffiti or anything like that. The other ones, they have occasional ones, which I was really surprised because that area is more, there's you'd think there would be more, but I thought I was really impressed. But he did say that the main pole was expensive, but the other was like $300 each.
Yeah, the basic, because of the agreement between, I guess maybe I haven't told one part of the detail, but if we order through the Rotary Action Group ones, there's a subsidy from the Jubitz Family Foundation. They pay the shipping cost from back east. And so the basic pole, white vinyl pole with 4 languages is $125. And then it kind of goes up from there to the larger vinyl poles are, I got the prices here somewhere, but $175 if you want 8 languages instead of 4. And then the wooden poles with 4 languages are $295 each.
Because these were all they were several
But-
colors and all that.
Yeah, so I presented this first to the Keizer Arts Commission, and when they saw the pictures, all those artistic poles, that's what they got excited about. Now, I would certainly not rule that out, although that wouldn't necessarily be part of, say, phase 1 that I'm proposing to with the Rotary, hoping to get the Rotary involvement in. But I think it would be a great expansion of the project to maybe solicit some artist crafted poles, and then you could maybe have a group, you could have, say, one or two of the basic poles, and then have an artistic one there to make a nice visual look to it.
Thank you for being, I just wanted to add that because, I might be in the decision part of this, but my comment was that they were pretty cool where I've seen them. That's the only place I've seen them, is in Texas. I haven't seen them anywhere
Oh,
else.
okay.
So anyway, if you get the funding, I hope you do well.
Okay.
I've seen two of
Thank
them.
you.
I've seen them in Casper, Wyoming, and I've seen them in
They're all over.
Silverton, Oregon.
The silver one.
And I stopped and I said, wow, that is really cool. That is a really good thought.
It's even more timely now than when I first started working on this. Yeah.
And we have one on our State Street location. I work for Family Building Blocks, and we have a piece pool at our Helen's Place location. So it's not very far away if you want to
Okay.
go see it there. It's great. And again, we don't have any issues with graffiti. People leave it alone. So I think it's a great addition right now. I like the ideas of the parks that were suggested. I'd like to see if we could get one at Keizer Station. So I forgot the name. Ryan Hill Park. That'd be great because it's, again, a lot of
That is one
different
that I have
people.
thought of. I didn't mention it to you tonight, but I think
Yeah.
I agree. I think that would be another nice
Yeah,
spot.
but I mean, do you want a recommendation of where or more of, yes, we're in,
Both of those.
okay. I don't think that there's any issue. I'm not seeing anything, but that's just my thought.
I would also just, I gotta be careful how I say this. I think doing them in the right colors would make a lot more sense now than it did a few months ago.
In the right colors?
I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, I think if you just have them just white, it might come off differently now than it did a while ago. So I think they could be done where it's a very positive thing. White on black, black on white, all kinds of different options that I think would be a little bit more meaningful.
The chair would like to instruct the board to follow Councilor Rowland's actions and be recognized by the chair before you speak.
Sorry.
That's okay. Any other comments or questions for our interested citizen? Robert, so where were you thinking to put these to start with?
The parks that Pat had mentioned. So,
I'm old. Refresh my old memory.
okay, we discussed Country Glen. Basically, it sounds like the best locations is anywhere that people are walking that can stop and read the pole. It doesn't really make sense to have it to where just cars pass by because they're not going to quite understand what it is or what it says. They don't have enough time to actually stop and look. So Pat's idea was at the Keizer Rotary Amphitheater, which makes sense because Rotary's involvement is there. This is hopefully going to have Rotary's involvement in the future. It draws large crowds of people for summer concerts, weddings, other venues. So at any one time you can have 700, 800 people in that one location. Country Glen Park was mentioned. There's a pretty popular walking trail for that neighborhood that people could stop and take a look. Wallace House has another good walking loop with cyclists that go through there regularly that could also stop and enjoy that. And then we discussed Keizer Little League complex. Naturally, that draws a lot of crowds through the spring, summer, and fall. People from all over Oregon who may not know of these could enjoy one there. Yeah. And Ryan Hill Park. I think that's also fitting. That was mentioned right at the end. So,
Okay.
any of those locations sound pretty good to me.
Oh,
Sorry, I'm
you're hiding
horrible
behind the desk.
about asking to speak. I'm sorry. What about, I don't know if it would be the skate park, but maybe recommendation of the city of Keizer having one. I don't know if this is the place to really, or to have that conversation because it's not considered a park, but if we could put one in the skate park, it's really close to the city. Has the city maybe even been asked about doing a peace pole here?
One of my first contact really with the city was with Nate Brown.
Okay.
And so it's kind of on his radar that I would ask for this somewhere on the civic center, whether
Okay.
it's a cultural heritage site or in front of this building, so somewhere on this property. And I guess the permit, he was helping me look at the permit rules. So for instance, if it's in a city park, not visible from, especially if it's not visible from a city street, then we just work directly with the city agency. A different rule would apply if it's on, like next to River Road. That might be there might be some nice spots there too, but then I'd have to go through the Arts Commission and the City Council for those sites.
Makes sense.
So, yeah. But if it's another private, for instance, McNary High School, Principal Jesperson is very interested in getting one there, but that's just between, that can just be done directly. And in fact, there could be up to 3 poles together. It's kind of based on the surface area. They have a little calculation, but in most places, we could do up to 3 poles without needing any kind of permits or approvals. Yeah.
So would approval of the concept work for you tonight? And then you could work with Robert on where?
Yes, I guess the best for me would be approval that you support this and would allow some poles to be installed within the city parks that we've mentioned.
Do we have a motion for that?
I can make that motion. I'd be happy to make a
Well, do you want
motion
to tell us
to,
what the motion is?
yeah, let's make a motion to approve the peace poles located in the designated Keizer parks.
That work, Debbie?
Uh-huh.
Okay. Is there a second?
Second.
Dylan seconds it. All those, any discussion?
I just have a question. You have to still raise money, of course, and there's budgetary aspects involved. Would it come back to this group when time to actually move forward for installation for any further approval? Or are we saying now we approve having it happen?
And leaving it up to Robert where?
I guess you're
Yeah.
authorizing me to work with Robert on that
Yeah.
part, right?
Yeah, it doesn't matter to me. I just want to be clear of the process.
Okay. Yes.
So would this follow the same kind of rules we have for monuments and memorials?
Robert?
Monuments, yeah.
Okay.
It's similar to that. It's not really a memorial per se, but.
Okay. Any other discussion? Yes.
It'd be great if we could just get feedback of when they're happening and where they ended up getting put in. So when you're working, as long as you're giving us updates, that'd be great.
Yeah, I can include that in my staff report whenever they get it.
Perfect.
To that point.
Okay. Thank you, Robert.
Yeah.
One last thing.
Yes, Roland.
If we get to that point, I'm part of another organization that would be willing, if you get to that point, and if we get approved by a certain council, we would be willing to help out financially with a small donation. We were looking for, my job is to find a project that would be cool. And that would be a
okay.
small one. If we get there.
Yes.
I guess I'm sorry, I can't read your name.
Go ahead.
Or Jeff.
Jeff, your question of if this board would be involved in any other decision-making, a possible decision that you could be involved in would be which languages to place on the poles in the different parks. Now, I'm assuming we would want English and Spanish probably on all of them, but what other languages will we choose that are either have a historical significance, whether we pick a Native American language or languages of other cultures, languages that are spoken here in town, so for instance. So that would be a possibility. That would come up maybe, my time, and I guess I could speak to the timeline too. If all goes well and I don't keep kind of getting halfway to the goal line every time, I would hope to have them installed by the middle of September, because September 21st is a International Day of Peace. And it would be, if we're going to have a celebration and ceremony, it would be nice to have it that day. And so that's kind of what I'm aiming for, if everything can fall in place by then.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you all very much.
Awesome, thank you, Pat.
Thank you.
Grant request, Palmer Snap. You again? 6 feet apart.
Do you want them to share microphones or use different ones? Okay.
Well, it's good to see all of you again. It's been a long time.
It has.
I'm Peggy Moore. I live and volunteer in Keizer. And tonight I'm representing the Peggy and Jerry Moore Community Garden. Every year we try to make improvements in the garden, and some are big and some are small. And this year one of our projects is we've been working with the Boy Scout Palmer Snap. I call it a rescue project because I rescued some outdoor furniture from going to the dump. And so Palmer is going to fix it up for us and put it in the garden, and it's going to be amazing. When he's finished with the project and get it approved, he will have learned woodworking skills, outdoor furniture repair, time management, how to find materials, and he will earn his Eagle Scout Award. So that's really great. You want to go ahead and tell them about your project? Oh, it's Palmer Snap Troop 121.
Yes. I need the microphone. I'm Palmer Snap from Troop 121, and a few months ago I received a little slip of paper from my Scoutmaster, and he said, I have 2 projects here for your Eagle Scout. Which one do you want to do? And I chose to help out the Peggy and Jerry Moore Community Garden, refurbish these benches. And the only thing that's holding me back at this point is getting this grant and getting the materials. We can easily assemble a team of boys to finish my project, which entails getting the wood all cut and routed, and then we need to put a finish on the wood, and we need to prime and paint the metal for the benches, and then we will assemble the benches. And we think that will take about maybe 2 weekends to finish, and we plan to have the entire project done by the end of the month, if we can get all of the materials together.
Tell them what you want donated from people.
So, I actually got quite a bit donated here. The big expensive parts were the router, the saws, and the drill press, which is about $200 donated. And we have a barn that we got donated to do our project in, to stay safe from each other. And we estimated that would be about $100 total to have it rented, and we got that donated. We got a small bit written off of our total for painting and staining supplies. So we saved about $40 or $50 on that. And all of our man hours are donated because it's all from the scout troop. And we also have man hours donated from a nice fellow named Jerry Lilac, and he is the one who is going to help us with the sawing. So our total man hours, we estimated, were going to be about $840, and that is all donated.
Sweet. And the total value of your project and what it actually will cost.
So the total value of the project is $1,386.48. That is our estimated total. But all I need from the Parks Board tonight is $201.83.
And did you submit our grant proposal? I didn't get it.
It was
Look in the
in your
park.
packet.
Oh, whoops, my bad.
Yeah, if you would read your package, you'd find that out.
Didn't scroll that far down, my bad.
Just scroll into it real quick.
Yep, it's right here, right in.
Right, no, I pulled it up.
Perfect.
I remember seeing it.
So Robert,
Wow.
would this come out of next year's funding?
If he can complete the project by June 30th, which I do believe he can.
Yeah,
that
he said a
correct?
head
Sweet.
nod.
I believe so, too.
Yeah, or yeah,
Yep.
head nod.
Good.
Yep.
Any questions for our scout?
Can I just say something?
Yes.
I think for $201.83, it would be a fantastic purchase for the city. And I'm really appreciative that you did all that work and did all that in-kind donations. That's awesome. So I'm in favor. I don't know if we need, do we?
You need a motion, do you want to make that?
Yes, I'll make the motion to approve the Parks grant for the troop to complete the project at Peg and Jerry Moore Community Garden for the amount of $201.83.
Second.
There's a second. Any discussion?
Well
Yes,
done.
Robert.
Do you need us to purchase the materials for you? Because within our grant program, we've rewritten some language that allows for that for youth projects.
We think it would be easier to purchase it ourselves and give you the receipts.
Invoice, yeah?
Yeah, because we have some things we need to purchase online, and that might be difficult to.
Yes.
to
Okay,
do.
that's not a problem, just curious.
Any other discussion? Hearing none? All those in favor of approval of this project, say aye.
Aye.
All those against? Project is approved.
Woo-woo.
Thank you.
Nicely done.
Approval of summer concert series bands not previously approved. Kenny Sears Band, Ellen White Band, Jean Gregg Band, and all that sounds good.
If I may, if y'all recall, before all this shutdown, I informed you that the Festival Advisory Board had been disbanded, and one of their tasks that they did annually was approve the bands that would be at the Keizer Rotary Amphitheater. And so your first approval that we're asking for is for bands that have never played there before. Those were all links, so you could go listen, you could listen to them on their Facebook page or whatever they had. And then the second one is approval of the list that they already approved. During the course of their tenure, they decided rather than approve all the bands every year, they would just approve new ones, and the approvals from the previous times would all stand. So that's a little explanation for you.
So I do have, excuse me.
Go ahead.
A question. All that sound, I'm familiar with Nick, and usually he does sound support. I thought he's been out there numerous times.
Well, I think this is a band called All That Sound. That link, if you click on the link, I found a band.
Oh, I went to
called
the Facebook page for it, and it was
Oh.
Nick's page
Yeah.
for doing sound for different
Well, I don't know. This
organizations.
was that was the list that Clint gave me. So maybe he's Did it have music on that Facebook page? Anything you could listen to?
No, they had a band up on there. I didn't really see.
Well, see, that's
some
what I
music.
thought that all that sound was. I didn't know that he was in a different business.
I know that Nick is also a musician. I don't know if
He
you know
is. I know he
Bryce,
sings
so-
also, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe that's what that is.
I don't know.
I mean, I don't have a problem with approving him, honestly. I was just wondering why he was on there now.
That's
I was
apparently
also
planning on-
wondering that.
Yeah.
I think Clint had him, let me see if I've got that. Clint had him booked. Now, I think everything has been stopped. But I had a handwritten thing from Clint that showed the dates. And he was on there for one of those days.
Okay.
Ah, here it is. Okay, let's see. Oh, no, well, is it Hope United? No, I don't know where that is. It might have been, I got it off his website, because sometimes his lists are kind of hard to read.
Yes, Robert?
Yeah, as Debbie said, currently the summer concert event series is canceled, but if for some reason we can, get things to reopen before the end of the summer, there's a possibility that, some of these might be able to play, but currently speaking,
Okay.
it's canceled.
Yep.
Tanya, did you want to have a comment?
Oh, no, I was just agree, yes, agreed.
Yes, Roland?
Thank you, sir. Chair. It's my understanding that that would have to be on phase 3, am I correct? As far as crowd numbers? To have a concert? Yeah, because phase 2 is only 50 or 100 people, if I'm correct. And that looks like it's going to be pretty close. I mean, it's going to be almost impossible.
This is not contingent upon whether or not there's going to be any concerts. It's just that since they're up there, we just thought it would be a good idea to go ahead and get them
Sure.
approved. So you don't have to have a special meeting next year like we were going to have to do this year to approve them if they go on up for concerts next year.
Right.
Chair, just for,
Yeah.
so to clarify, this is to approve these 4 names onto the ongoing list.
Exactly.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments?
Oh, okay. I think that all that sound, I just texted Nick, all that sound is just production, but they host the Hope United concert, which is probably
Okay.
what is being
That
referred
makes
to here.
sense.
Okay.
There you go.
Okay, so that should be if it's approved, then it's all that sound / Hope United.
Yeah.
Okay.
So do we have a motion on the floor? All right. Do we have a motion to approve these bands and add them to the existing list, except all that sound?
No, it's all that
It's
sound / Hope United.
All that sound / what?
Hope United.
Hope United.
Hope United.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hope United is on this list already.
It is?
Yeah, it's right
Oh,
here.
okay. Okay, good. Hope United's already on the list, so we
Yep.
Oh.
can take that off.
Okay.
All right.
I thought it was last year, yeah.
So we're looking at Kennedy Sears Band, Ellen White Band, and Jean Grigg Band. So do we have a motion to approve those 3 bands to add to the permanent list?
I'll make a motion to approve those 3 bands.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Dylan will second that. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 All those opposed? Motion passes. Now we need to approve the other list, the permanent list. Any questions on who's on the current list?
They are all people that have played at the amphitheater before.
Yes, I can actually hear him way down on Rivercrest, if the wind's right.
Can I just make a comment?
What do we just need to approve these,
We
the
just need
same
to
list?
approve the
Yeah.
standing list because
Because it's a different
KFAB no
committee
longer
now.
exists.
Yeah.
Right.
It's because KFAB no longer exists,
Oh.
yeah.
Right, right.
Okay,
Well, I move that we approve the list as it is, and then I guess the additional 3 we just approved, right?
Those will automatically go on.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have a second to approve the existing list?
Second.
Second, any discussion?
I just,
Yes.
I'm assuming that there was no concerns with any of these bands, because we didn't hear anything.
They've already played.
Right, but there hasn't been any feedback from them or anything like that, I'm just assuming that everything was good to go?
No.
Okay.
Last I heard from Clint, it was good.
Every concert I've been at has been fantastic
Yeah.
too, so.
Okay, any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the existing list, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes. I also dropped my gavel. Parks report, Mike.
Okay, I'll start with Mike Whittam Park. I went by there this weekend. The community garden was getting some pretty good use. There were numerous gardeners there. The rest of the park is in fair shape. I did notice some trees down at the north end. I'm guessing I really didn't walk that far to see what that project might be. It was over towards the, there's the neighborhood and towards the ballpark. But other than that, it looked fine. And I know there's not a lot of stuff at that park, so. As far as Country Glen Park goes, the park appeared to be in pretty decent shape. The play structure is still taped off due to the COVID-19. I met with Councilor Herrera to talk about some areas of concern since the councilor lives there and knows the park really well. We walked around the park. Much of the blacktop on the walkway has a drop off on both edges, which I think could be a hazard for people walking late when it's dark out, or people using wheelchairs or walkers. I don't know if there's a way maybe to fill around the edges of that. The tall trees along the south side over by the creek have roots that are extending under the blacktop and starting to push the surface up and crack it. And I think you're aware of that also, Robert, right? Which leaves a hazard for walkers and runners. It appeared there was weed control that was used around the walking surface, except for on the side along the street. There's no weed control right along that edge. There's just dandelions along the whole thing. So maybe that could get hit again. There was a broken bench underneath the cover with graffiti on the picnic tables. And there's some trees on the north side along the street that had some dead branches on them, kind of sticking out. And I didn't actually take any pictures of the trees. I did take some other pictures here that I can get to you.
Yeah, great, thank you. You said north side of the street, you mean south side of the street by chance?
North side of the park.
The north side of the park I meant, right, south side of the street, yes.
Very good.
Thank you, Counselor. And so that's it. Was there, could I ask real quick, Counselor, was there anything else that stuck out to you?
The regular graffiti that we saw, I think you took pictures of it.
Right.
Robert is aware, if I may, Chair, Robert is aware that there's consistent graffiti there.
Right.
And you happen to see it. Remember, I was gone for 3 days and it appears when I'm gone.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I can control that. Thank you for the extra can you sent over. And then it's pruning time. So sometime I want to get all that done. But anyway, the mowing, the guy that does the mowing does a really good job.
Oh.
He really does a good job. I mean, I swear he's mowing it lower. Am I wrong?
Oh, we're starting to train it down.
Well, I mean, I think now that the guys are mowing more often, it makes a huge difference. Not only in that park, I mean, all the parks. I just want to say that. Thank you.
Thank you.
David?
I just want to follow up on a couple things that Mike mentioned. The asphalt has been discussed here in the meeting a couple times. It's on our list of things to do this next budget year, so we're going to have some trail maintenance done there.
Good.
Table that you showed is broken, that was repaired, I believe last week. And then the spraying, talked to the guys already, we're going to come back and do some spot spraying in a couple key areas that were missed. But, yeah.
So that one bench that was just yesterday I looked at it.
Yesterday?
Yes, that end of that bench broken off.
Because I know there was a repair made up there a week ago or so.
Wasn't that yesterday I met with you, Counselor?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And that's one that they've gnawed the corner, you know how they've gnawed it all the way down the them, so.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it
We're
can,
constantly chasing that stuff.
No, I know.
yeah, that's not a high priority, but it's there, you know, so, whatever.
Unfortunately, through this COVID with kids, it's kind of like summer got out early.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
every time the week that school gets out, kids go crazy. They go break stuff, they vandalize, they graffiti all over. Well, that started happening 2 months ago.
That's it for me.
Just waiting to see if Robert had any other questions.
I'm done, thank you.
Thank you. Clay?
Thank you. Yeah, I have Bear Park and Willamette Manor. I was by Willamette Manor 3 weeks ago. A sign, stay away from COVID. Do we know when those are going to be? I mean, because they've been adjusted, at least over at Bob Newton, I've noticed they've adjusted them for some of it. Like the sign said, instead of closed, it said, you can
For
use.
sports courts,
Maybe it was a sports.
if you're playing with your own family, your direct family,
maybe
you're
that's
allowed to
what
play on the court, yeah. Again, these are all governor's orders. Hopefully phase 2 we'll be able to open some more things up here soon. We're keeping our fingers crossed, but you know, it's a very fluid situation we're in, and we're constantly getting updates, and as we get those, we post them accordingly, and we're all just keeping our fingers crossed that we can get through this and start reopening, sports courts and the playgrounds. Is like, people are chomping at the bit to get into the playgrounds right now. So,
I bet.
fingers crossed, hopefully soon.
And there were some kids playing around on the play areas, so nothing you can do about it. So,
No.
Bear Park, I'm by there regularly just because I live pretty close, so I'm by there a couple times a week. A little bit of trash, it's no big deal, but it's been cleaned up really good as far as, used to be the foliage was dangerous for anybody to walk by through that trail, and now it's been really good the last few years, so. Thank you.
And Clint and Matt are not here. Staff report.
Things have been kind of fun for us the last 3 months since we met last. Our entire public works crew was on a split shift up until about 2 weeks ago. And so we're trying to keep about half of our crew away from the other half of the crew in case anybody got COVID, that we wouldn't immediately spread it throughout all of us. We were working 12-hour days, 3 on, 3 off, 4 on, 4 off. I got to draw the cards of working weekends for the last 3 months, so that was interesting, but we got through it. We're back to our regular schedules. I finally was able to put in an order for some summer tents, which we've been told not to do up until recently. So they are a huge help for our park staff to be able to go out and keep grass mowed. Keizer Rapids alone has its own summer tent that helps out down there that we have yet to bring on board. So we're struggling in a few areas down there. Thankfully, the playgrounds and bathrooms have mostly been closed up, so that's helped draw down a little bit of that need. But people have been using the parks like crazy. I mean, we wanted to keep our parks open if possible because we recognize the importance of exercise and fresh air. And if people can maintain their social distancing, you're more than welcome to go to a park and go for a walk and go get some fresh air and get out of the house. I think that's really important. So we're able to do that, thankfully. But now we're slowly working our way back into reality, and hopefully we can have some summer temps on very soon to start helping us with a lot of our routine maintenance that we need to do. We've been able to pretty much keep up with it, but not quite to where we would like to see it. So, Willamette Manor surfacing project, so the tennis court / pickleball court that we have started to build there, the concrete was poured last fall. It sat through the winter because we can't apply the surfacing in the winter months. It was scheduled to be surfaced this week, weather dependent. As you all know, what it's been doing the last 2 days, continues to rain. Next week looks more promising. So fingers crossed that that crew can get in there and get that court surfaced so we can start playing tennis and pickleball on it again. Be awesome. And then also Northview Terrace Park. One last project we're trying to get finished up before the end of our budget year is the new swing set up there. So that's something that was budgeted for this current fiscal year, and contractors promised to have that installed no later than June 30th. So again, just trying to coordinate with them. It's basically a one-day project. They'll come in, remove the old swing set, install the new one, put the wood chips back, and then staff will probably add some more wood chips over the top of that entire playground once they're out of there. So thank you. That's what I had.
2 questions for you, Robert.
Yes.
So at Willamette Manor Park, I noticed there's really deep ruts underneath the swings. Do you guys do that, or do I need to walk down the end of the block and fill those in for you?
If you wanted to volunteer, you're more than welcome. We do fill in ruts. We have not been filling in ruts as much lately because playgrounds have been closed for the last 3 months. So we've tried to focus some of our efforts on other items, but we definitely will get back to doing that very soon.
Okay, and then what's going on at Sunset Park? There's locates all over the place.
Oh, we're getting ready to move a gate and pull a tree out because of an agreement that was made with a neighbor on the fence line. Daryl's old property, if you remember him.
Yeah, I remember Daryl.
Yeah.
So what's the agreement with the property owner?
To temporarily move the fence over so that property owner does not need access to the park any longer. Daryl used to go through the park gate with a key.
So you're just going to temporarily move that block fence?
We are not. The property owner is.
I mean, temporarily?
Well, as long as they're living there. That's my understanding. That's not an agreement that I was involved in, so.
No, I got word there's lawyers involved, so it's, yeah. After seeing all the commercials on TV for lawyers, you really don't think much of them anymore. You got a hangnail, you may get compensated. All right, thank you. Council, it's your turn. I can see you now.
Well, the main thing is we got our budget approved recently, the latest budget. And I just want to send kudos to Tim and those guys who made every year it gets, I mean, when you're in a budget process, I don't know if you've been involved in the budget process, but it's pretty, I mean, you go in there and it's pretty, you don't know where you're at. And then every year they explain it better and you get it better. Well, it's gotten down to where we know exactly where we're at. I do anyway. And Tim has done a fantastic job. Kudos also to Marlene Parsons, who chaired that committee. And we did it via Zoom. Out of the 18 people in our two Zoom meetings through that, the other was council. I was the only one that my volume didn't work, so I didn't have a whole bunch of input sometimes. But I will say this, it worked out, the kinks worked out well on that. And I just want to thank Tim and all of the staff for putting together that package. They did a great job. And it's it's pretty complex for a small, medium-sized city. Also, I did a whole bunch of Zooms and with beacons with different organizations. Tomorrow I have the Marion County breakfast. We also have the Latino Business Alliance, which I'm not scheduled to go, but I might have to go down there and introduce somebody. But also, we've had some executive sessions coming up on July 6th and 15th. Thank you, Debbie, for that. It's public testimony on the Charter 44. That committee also has done an excellent job. I think Councilor Kohler and I probably went to most of those meetings, and the staff our legal department did it, Shannon, those guys, Tammy, did a super job making it easy to read and easy to understand the changes. And there wasn't anything dramatic change. There was a lot of discussion on several things, whether it's wards, terms, whatever. But the main object was the Section 44 that we're all familiar with. And I just applaud the guys for their objective is to get caught up with the times, because that was way, and I believe in my own personal view that we had on our charter way too long, but we're not gonna go backwards, we're gonna go forward. And I think that we have, it's making Keizer better, to make sure it's more inclusive, and I really think that that's the right thing to do. And hopefully the voters will agree, I believe they will. The last thing was, to all the stuff going on in the community, I'm really proud of our community in general, not only business community for hanging in there, but also the kids that I work with, which I miss, and you know that, Tanya. But anyway, we handled it pretty well in general, with all the stuff going on, the marches and this and that. We didn't have no violence, we didn't have nothing like that. I saw a couple things saying to be careful because they might be in town, and I never thought for a minute there was going to be violence in this town. In Keizer, our police department does an excellent job, and I actually posted something on that effect because, those guys are guys that we all know. Keizer's small enough to where we all know our police department. I coached 4 of them, and I mentored a couple of them. So I know them real well. I know that they all kind of keep each other in check. They're really very good, and we're run by a pretty good police chief, I would say. So as far as the issues going nationally, Keizer, we're in good shape. So I just wanted to thank our community in that respect. But that's my 2 cents. Kind of boring, but that's pretty much it. And also thank you for volunteering, along with the volunteers that all. And I was talking to a young man, and I forgot his name because I'm terrible with names, with the Eagle Scouts. And when I see an Eagle Scout, somebody step up and, it costs the city $200 over all this labor, all this in-kind stuff. That's Keizer right there. That's totally Keizer, and I really applaud the young man. I was fortunate to work with many Eagle Scouts when I was running the field director for Little League, and those guys put a lot of pride into their work. And I just want to applaud those folks for doing that. Actually, I worked for 11 different Eagle projects over my 16 years over there, and we did 3 in 1 year. I was telling the young man, and boy, the look on those kids' face, the way they work together, just amazing to watch these guys work. So I applaud the young man, and of course his dad too for raising a great kid. So that's it. Thank you.
Councilor Rowland, how did our grant fund fare? Did we get the same amount?
Yeah, we're gonna be in good shape with the grant fund. And Robert knows more about it than I do. I kind of watched the nickels on that, but I know that $200 is.
Oh, I understand that. It's the fiscal year is coming up, and that's why.
No, we're gonna be fine with the.
Okay.
Go ahead, Robert.
It's $15,000 again this year.
Yeah,
so
same.
Doing good.
All right, thank you. Other business, AKA Matt's Minute.
All right, well, I'm doing it. So the Volunteer Coordinating Committee, at their last meeting, which was several months ago, got a nomination for the Keizer Parks Foundation as Volunteer of the Quarter. So, and they approved it. So the City Council will be giving the foundation that award at their next upcoming meeting, which is coming up June 15th. So if I thought the Parks Board might want to know that and come to the meeting or, send their support, however. Normally, we give the volunteer of a quarter a clock, but this is a foundation. So we had a really nice sign made with all of the board members' names on it. And it's going to be installed down at Keizer Rapids Park at the Big Toy, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so, because they got the sales with there, and they're actually, they've done a huge amount for all over the city, but a lot there at Keizer Rapids Park, so.
Yes,
okay.
they're responsible for building the big toy. Robert, have you solved the problem of all our recognition signs cracking out there?
No, not yet. There's no resolution to it just yet, other than figure out a different product to make the signs out of. It's unfortunate. You can still read them, but they all have a little bit of cracking going on. I know Mark Collier was working on that too, because he was having some issues over at the Arboretum, so.
Yes, all those signs are cracking. So I hope the new one for the Parks Foundation isn't made the same.
I don't know. I'm not involved in that process.
Over by my office if you want to
Okay.
look at it. I didn't know there was any kind of problem.
Thank you. Any other business? Yes.
Yeah, I'm just curious when those sales, when would they normally go up? Did we delay it because the parks are closed? And are they just going to go up as soon as the playgrounds get opened?
So every year, our plan is to put them up around the 1st of June, give or take a couple weeks probably with weather. So if this was a regular year and we were allowed to have our playgrounds open, we would probably install them this coming Monday. It's about when the real good sunny weather is going to start. We're not going to put them up until we know our playground's going to open regularly. There's no sense in putting them out in the weather any longer than they have to be. So.
Okay, awesome.
Have you got your cones placed on top of the poles yet?
Yes.
All right, thank you.
What?
People were climbing the poles and sitting on top, so now we put a point on top. Makes it more uncomfortable to sit up there.
Cool.
Can I ask a silly question? How many times have you had to replace that construction tape on those play structures?
That's a silly question.
It was down the other day and I picked it back up and tried to tie, stretched it to tie it.
Our clothes signs get stolen very regularly. The construction tape gets, caution tape's taken down. People
Right.
jump over the barricades, move the barricades, jump the fence. They don't care.
Yeah. It's time.
What would you like to happen if somebody sees somebody on the playground? Just nothing? Or?
Yeah,
Wash your hands.
there's no sense in getting in a fight over it.
Right.
They know the rules. It's kind of a policing matter. The police have better things to be doing right now. So
Right.
Cool.
I politely remind people when I see it. But
Yeah.
Any other new business? Then we're going to stand adjourned at 7:02.
Sweet.